it's with mixed emotions that you kind of sit here today. How have you processed everything over the last several hours, and how anxious are you to get this opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. It's bittersweet. It's an opportunity for me, but it comes at the cost of someone that was near and dear to my heart as well. But I have a job to do. I've been tasked with a specific job, and I'm excited about the opportunity to do that. I love the game of baseball, and to have this opportunity to lead a group of men is something that I look forward to.
Bees, is this?
I'm new at this.
First of all, is this a dream come true for you to have this opportunity? I know it's kind of shrouded in a nightmare, but is this a dream come true for you to be manager?
I think everyone that manages in the minor leagues and comes up through a system, we aspire to get the opportunity to manage at the major league level at some point. And obviously that's something that I have desired to do in my life. It's not something that I've thought was a must or absolute to complete me or validate me, but it's an opportunity that's presented itself, and I'm grateful for it, yes.
Yeah, and you said you have a specific job to do, so managing a baseball team is so multifaceted.
Yeah.
In your estimation, what is the specific job?
Yeah, well, I just want us to have fun, to get to where we have a good environment where we can go out and play the game of baseball, fundamentally sound. Chuck Tanner said something years ago that always sticks in my mind about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, and that's my task right now. It's just simple, that we play the game with enthusiasm, with fun, with passion, and with joy. And that we just do what the game's asking us to do night in and night out. Nothing more, nothing less.
So in some regards, you kind of addressed that, Tony, but both Chris and JD talked about preparation, style of play, execution of play. How do you address that with this team? Have you already addressed it in talking with them? And I'm more interested in, how do you address that element?
Yeah, it's a daily deal. Things don't happen instantaneous, but I've got a good rapport with everyone in that clubhouse. Just have the necessary conversations and make sure that we get the most out of the individuals that we have on our roster. I feel confident that I can do that.
We talked to JD and CY about kind of what they want to see in these last 48 games. What are you hoping to see and kind of get from this team through the last stretch of the season?
I just want us to play a good brand of baseball. Obviously, we don't always control wins and losses. I would love to see us go on a run here and make it interesting. That would be ideal. I think we have the capability of doing that. We've got to play the brand of baseball that gives us that chance. But I just want to see the players enjoy the game, to embrace coming in the clubhouse, embracing each other, and everything that we're about. Being a Texas Ranger should be something special. It should mean something different than just being a baseball player. And so, like, my message to the team earlier was just that, when we play teams, I don't want us to focus on it and look at it as if we're playing them. I want us to build an attitude where teams are playing us. They've got to deal with us, and we don't necessarily have to deal with them day in and day out. So, the mentality that we breed within the clubhouse of who we are and who we aspire to be and what we want to achieve, it's important. Talent is one thing, but what we think of ourselves is something else, and we are who we think we are. And so we have to start thinking a little more highly of ourselves and thinking that we can achieve a little more than what we've already achieved.
Please, congratulations. Did this come as a surprise to you? And then who was the first person you called?
I actually haven't called anyone. I got here and it's just a normal day for me. And then JD and CY pulled me aside and told me the situation. And so ever since then, it's been kind of, just kind of gather your thoughts and try to get some clarity on what needs to happen next. So I haven't even talked to my wife yet. I haven't called anyone. I haven't really had a chance to. I've had to have some conversations that just haven't had a chance to do. I've got like 120 some messages that I need to respond to. So I'm just still kind of trying to get settled and make sure that today can run smooth.
Did you talk to Chris Woodward?
I haven't yet. I saw him when I first came in. That was prior to all of this. So I spoke with him, and I'm definitely going to reach out to him.
And then when you were answering Kennedy's question about having fun and playing a good brand of baseball, is nobody having fun, and are you guys not playing a good brand of baseball?
I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is that's what my desire is, to make sure that I create an environment where we're having fun. We're two different people, and the way I may approach something is going to be different than anyone else. We all are unique in our own ways and our styles of how we do and how we handle individuals and situations. So, I'm upfront. I'm honest. I just think that I know what I want to see. I want to see us take the field with a little more passion, a little more enthusiasm, just kind of tighten the things up a little. We have not been, I don't think we reached our potential this year. And that's not an indictment on anyone. I'm on the coaching staff, so, I'm responsible just as well as anyone else. So we've got to get things better. We've got to get things right. And I'm going to do my best to get us there.
B, since you got here, you've been kind of the sounding board for a lot of players that have come through this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you are the authoritative figure in that room, is that going to be a difficult thing to juggle, and have you thought about how you'll handle that balancing act?
Yeah, I told the players I'm not going to change who I am. I've been pretty consistent my whole life, and I think that, you have to be true to who you are in your heart. I mean, if it's easy for them to talk to me prior to being the manager, then it should be easy now. And I've told them, the door is open. Like, I've invited that we have honest dialogue back and forth, whether it's comfortable or not. I won't lie. I won't sugarcoat. If the player has an issue with me, then I want to hear that, because I don't want to hear it a roundabout the way. So, I'm going to be who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. But I can be many different things. I can be fair, I can be firm, I can be whatever the situation calls for. As a coach, I haven't had the responsibility of managing and being in front of certain things. But as the manager, then I have no problem I'm going to be who I am, but I'll deal with what I have to deal with.
But you have had some direct conversations with players in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You willing to embrace that element? I don't want to say embrace. Nobody wants to have those,
Mm-hmm.
but you're willing to tackle that if
Yeah.
need be in a straightforward manner.
For me, that's the fun part of it. I mean, we're all passionate about what we do. So, sometimes that breeds a conversation that brings passion about. And I love that. I mean, if you love what you do and it's challenged once in a while, then maybe the conversation won't be so, easy, but it's necessary. And as long as, players know that I have their best interests in mind, and you've built the relationship that's necessary, you can have any conversation that you have to have. It doesn't have to be combative or, derogatory. You're just trying to bring out the best in each individual. I've challenged them to do the same with me. If I just told a few guys, if I do something that offends you or what have you, I want to know about it. Like, that's, this is a grown man business, and you have to be willing to have tough skin and have tough conversations. And if you're ever going to progress and get to the bottom of something, then you got to deal with it.
It's been said for several reasons that your predecessor may have been dealt a bad hand. How would you you're essentially playing with his cards. How would you describe the situation that you've been put in as far as it maybe being a bad hand?
I don't look at it like that. I mean, if you love what you do and it's challenged once in a while, then maybe the conversation won't be so, easy. But as long as, players know that I have their best interests in mind, and you've built the relationship that's necessary, you can have any conversation that you have to have. I don't look at it like that. whatever hand you give me, I'm going to play that hand and play it to the best of my ability. So that's where we're at. I believe in the guys in the clubhouse. Our job as coaches, and my job is to make sure we get the most out of that, and that's what's important. Like, if we can maximize who we are, and what more can we ask?
So Chris and John both mentioned style of preparation, style of play. We focused on fundamentals as something that needed improvement. So I'm curious, in your assessment, I mean, you've had a front row seat. What is the biggest area on field that is in need of improvement, and how do you plan on going about addressing that? There's
not one specific area. All of you have been here all year. You guys have watched us play all year long. We've made mistakes. We haven't taken care of the ball all the time. We haven't made the best decisions with the ball. Offensively, we haven't always come through in big situations, and that's kind of objective. That's a tough thing to do. Always come through in the offensive spot, but just the things that we expect to happen day in and day out fundamentally, just making good decisions. We can improve those things. So a lot of the things that we've done is not physical mistakes. There have been mental mistakes that we've made, and it's no running away from that or hiding that. We just got to address those things and make sure we having the right conversations and dealing with things as they come up. We have to try to play a cleaner brand of baseball, night in and night out. Can you play perfect baseball? No one does. But we've got to take the field and make sure we have a mindset that whatever the game's asking us to do, that we can execute it.
And then from a managerial style standpoint, I know one of the things that Woodward was most known for was being aggressive on the base paths. And I'm just curious, from you've had influence from him, from Bannister before, and a lot of guys before that. How would you self-describe your own, I guess, managerial style from a strategy standpoint?
Yeah. I don't like to categorize myself as having a style. I think if you say that, then you just putting yourself in a corner. Like, why not just be able to just see the game and have feel and vision and do whatever the game's calling upon, and whatever what's available to you that night as far as what your lineup and your roster says you can achieve. You've got to play he said the hand that you dealt. And so I've got to deal with the roster that I have. If that roster dictates us being able to be aggressive on the bases, then that's what we do. If we're swinging the bats and we're hitting homers, then that's what we're going to do. If whatever it is, we just got to maximize the talent that we have in the clubhouse. And it's not a one way of doing things. We're going to run bases. We've been aggressive forever here. So when the information says there's an opportunity to exploit something, we're going to exploit it. If it's not there, we're not going to try to force it.
We'll take two more, Chris, and then Joe.
Bees, you talked about dealing with the hand that you were dealt. A couple years ago, you had to step away from this game. Do you mind talking about that journey to get to this point right now?
Yeah, it just makes make me a little more grateful for this opportunity, because that was a time in 2016 where I set out the whole year, and I watched Spike coach third base. It's very difficult to do, to sit there and watch somebody do your job. And just not knowing that you're going to get through that and be able to do this again. At some point, I didn't know that if I would have to walk away from baseball, or if health-wise I'd be able to continue. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that I'm still here. I'm able to have a normal life and do things that I enjoy and passionate about. So, yeah, I'm grateful. I'll never forget that. Trust me.
Last one, Joe.
Tony, CY said that you would be considered a full-time candidate when this opportunity comes. I guess, how do you approach a spontaneous managerial audition like you have right now?
That's great. I'm not worried about what happens beyond this year. It's not my focus. My focus is on today, and I'll deal with tomorrow when it gets here, and we'll see what the future holds. I think if you start thinking about what can happen or the possibility of next year and this stuff, it's going to be hard to have laser focus. I've been thrust into a situation today immediately and prompted, and I've got to just get things in order here right now, and I'm not focused on. I mean, I know the process. I know how the game works, and that's to be expected. That, you know, if I'll be considered after, and so will others. And the bottom line is that we do what we have to do right now, and try to get out of this what we need to get out of it, and see if I can make that difference that we need made immediately. And when the future gets here, we'll deal with it and see what happens.